beyond any measure. Just secure it, don't ever ignore it. To fight life's battles come what may. Education lights up your way. Without it you'll never get through. Success or failure now is up to you. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise later on in life you're gonna catch real hell. Without an education.
Yes, indeed, a pleasant good morning to all and sundry. Yes, so this is the 2024, the first of many. Remember, I've said on the ground report, and right here, it will be a long, hot 2024. Having regard to the necessity, the imperative to
much distress. So learn as much as you can. For the nation's future's in your hand. Children stay in school and learn well. Otherwise later on in life you're gonna catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. It's a treasure, yes a treasure, beyond any measure. Just secure it, don't ever ignore it. To fight life's battles come what may. Education lights up your way. Without it you'll never get through. Success or failure now is up to you. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise later on in life you're gonna catch real hell. Without an education.
Yes, indeed, a pleasant good morning to all and sundry. Yes, so this is the 2024, the first of many. Remember, I've said on the ground report, and right here, it will be a long, hot 2024. Having regard to the necessity, the imperative to remedy Trinidad and Tobago, to salvage and to ensure that the socio-economic and psycho-cultural realities, which of course we have all aspired, will materialize in Trinidad and Tobago to the best of our collective ability. It is against that background, of course, we start the series, the Sunday series, Dr. Khalid and myself, with respect, of course, to that vision, that objective, as we attempt not just to intellectually analyze the situation, but to also intellectually and practically prefer, advance, project solutions that will, of course, take us to the place we would like to be. We may be like Moses. We may direct in the promised land, direct it to the promised land, but we may not enter. But of course, we would have done our leg of this journey. So have a wonderful rest of the program. A pleasant good morning to all and sundry, east, west, north, central.
You much distress, so learn as much as you can, for the nation's future's in your hand. Children, stay in school and learn well, otherwise later on in life you gon' catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. It's a treasure, yes, a treasure beyond any measure. Just secure it, don't ever ignore it. To fight life's battles, come what may. Education lights up your way. Without it, you'll never get through. Success or failure now is up to you. Children, go to school and learn well, otherwise later on in life you're gonna catch real hell. Without an education.
Yes, indeed, a pleasant good morning to all and sundry. Yes, so this is the 2024, the first of many. Remember, I've said on the ground report, and right here, it will be a long, hot 2024. Having regard to the necessity, the imperative to remedy Trinidad and Tobago, to salvage and to ensure that the socio-economic and psycho-cultural realities, which of course we have all aspired, will materialize in Trinidad and Tobago to the best of our collective ability. It is against that background, of course, we start the series, the Sunday series, Dr. Khalid and myself, with respect, of course, to that vision, that objective, as we attempt not just to intellectually analyze the situation, but to also intellectually and practically prefer, advance, project solutions that will, of course, take us to the place we would like to be. We may be like Moses. We may direct in the promised land, direct it to the promised land, but we may not enter. But of course, we would have done our leg of this journey. So have a wonderful rest of the program. A pleasant good morning to all and sundry, east, west, north, central in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are right now, streaming on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good day to you. As I pass you on to Dr. Khalid. Yes, indeed. Education, and we must dispel, we must eliminate, we must, of course, reduce, we must make certain that those exploitative arrangements to capitalism and those who are prepared, of course, to get more than the fair share, whether in government or out of government, in business, etc., do not survive, do not spawn, that do not be the dominant factor and force in this country. Having regard, of course, stand by, and of course the lines will be open at any time. You can call in. We are not going to specify any time for the time being. Dr. Khalid.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world wide web. It's a pleasure to be here again. I won't say back because I've been always talking to Lennox, so it's here. You know, physically, having starting back the program. And as Lennox said, we have a treat for you all. Obviously, we'll be talking about the situation of Trinidad and Tobago, maybe one or two references of things that are happening in the world, but mainly Trinidad and Tobago and crime and programs for the youth. Why we have the crime continuing over and over and over. Wherever there's a problem, there must be a solution. And anytime there's no solution or no attempt at a solution, that means those in authority don't really give a foot. So, again, expect a very good program.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But Dr. Khalid, you know, I like you to always take the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Right.
And start off. How has been, of course, those days that we have not been together, those Sundays in particular, how has it been, and how has been your weekend so far?
Well, so far my weekend has been good. You know, my weekend really is in the center, working with those young people. We are supposed to have a village council election. I told my people that I would switch with my vice president. I would become vice and he will become president, because I have a lot of programs that are set up with the youths.
Yes.
I had discussed some with you.
Yes.
Where we'll be mentoring those youths.
Yes,
and
indeed.
actually, you use the word just now is notice when they say take the bull by its horn. I smiled because that's what I'm doing right now.
Yes, indeed. And to take the bull by the horn is not just a cliche or a phrase or abstractism, but it is a practical and reality that persons like us, and indeed you out there who will be viewing at this point, must understand that there are sleeping giants in this country and indeed any society where the time would have come, propitious or appropriate as the case may be, for them to come to the fore. Mm-hmm. And so it is against that background, those of us who are conscious, those of us who have a love for country, those of us who, of course, the camera is that way. Mm-hmm. All right, so that camera there, yes. Right. Let me make sure that people see your face.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Frontally, a full face picture. Yes, let me do all of the strain and the gazing because I have to multitask. Right. But the fact of the matter is that we have a duty and responsibility. So once again, of course, welcome to the first program. I should say welcome back, as you said, but welcome to the first program. How has been your weekend so far, that aspect of it?
Well, good. Very
well, we have a call already, so we go straight to the lines. Pleasant, good morning. Welcome to the corridor. Good morning. Yes, after 10 o'clock, around 11 o'clock. I know who this is. This is not a regular caller. All right, but I'm on air right now. All right?
All right, well,
yes.
Let me come the morning.
Okay then.
Monday after 10.
Great. That'll be lovely, but beautiful. Yeah, people, of course, as we do on this program, we mix work with, of course, um, bringing information to you that you may be aware or you may um, get some additional information to what you are aware of already, or indeed to entirely new information altogether. But of course, that is the mix that we bring, so that we are real, we are practical, and people out there will know that because that happens in your own life. Go ahead, Dr. Khalid. Sorry for that interruption.
Yes, well, my weekend has been work so far, and I left the center there last night.
Uh-huh.
First, I went there from 10:30, and I left there 9:30.
9:30, well, yes.
9:30. So
Yeah.
cause I can tell you, we have things that we're doing with the young people. Saturdays, we have the car park there, but then have a whole set of young people coming and
Yes.
trying to organize. So sometimes time just pass by while you're trying to get things done.
Yes, yes, yes. It's so real, and so, of course, time consuming, and it appears on a daily basis. I don't know if that is your experience as well, where you find that a day is not long enough.
Yeah, no.
A day is not long enough. You have so much things to do that, of course, a day is simply not long enough. But I know your area is that of, and we will talk about it a little more because, of course, you know the Empowerment Resource Center is up and running.
Right.
Only this week we signed an agreement. This is a copy of it here. An agreement, yes, a lease agreement with the young people. They want to set up a wholesale, should I say, business, and it makes sense to me because right around here on Prince Street next door, on George Street and so on, is a mecca, is competition for, of course, wholesale as well as retail items, and therefore is a very convenient, centrally located place. So persons from on the hill, persons from Laventil, on the flat, Success Village, people from Sealots, Beetham, people from Diego Martin, etc., all of them can, of course, come here and access here very easily, including, of course, well-to-do so-called built-up communities such as Maraval and St. Anne's and so on. All of them can, of course, see George Street, Prince Street as a central place,
Right.
and they get the cheapest meat. So their Sunday lunch is well serviced by those businesses, and therefore adding another wholesale, let's say, enterprise will not take away but will add. And of course, if competition is good in terms of prices, then I expect those young men to do well with their with their project. Look at here. It's an agreement, and some of which, of course, I will try to read out this morning if it becomes necessary. But I know your concern is about the crime and criminality,
Yeah.
particularly among our young people. But that was just one initiative to try to address that problem frontally, practically. But I would want to get your views first before, of course, I go into some of the details that would, of course, been the foundation or the driving force behind this particular initiative of drawing up an agreement, a lease agreement for part of our George Street facility, which you saw when you were coming in for the first time with these young men. I am very excited, but go ahead, my friend.
Well, yes, just to piggyback a little on what you said,
Yeah.
I am excited also for you and for me by extension because this is what we need to do. We can't just come up with talk all the time. You have to give them, show them a way and let them see something practical. And then from there, you will take it. Because one of the things is young people out there have no where to go without people like us coming to the front.
Yes.
And as a result of that, they're losing hope. And this is where the crime come in. Because
Yep.
a lot of people using their situation to get involved in crime. And, you know, we could say whatever we want to say, but the reality is they need to see something practical. So, regardless of what it is, however small it is, because it's not going to be big,
Yes.
they're going to start out small.
Of course.
So, however small it is, they need to see something, and they need to have people like us who showing some kind of caring for them there and guiding them and explaining. And that way, once they develop that kind of trust for us, the confidence gonna come. And one would bring in another one and another one. But that is the case about me. I have some young men there, and I have one. I normally refer to him as the future prime minister. He's going right here, southeast.
Southeast, I see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's a very bright young man, focused, and incidentally, he carried my month and date.
Wow. Right. So I can understand why you will be paying special attention. Not that the others will be neglected, but I'm sure that that would have been an extra fillip
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of I would say bias, but I would say preference.
But I have adopted him. That's one of my grandsons.
All right. Okay. So that even makes it
Yes.
more poignant,
Yeah,
more significant in
Yeah.
terms of that.
Be-
But the crime situation has continues to escalate. The Minister of National Security continues, of course, to flounder. The Prime Minister seemed to have given up, and of course is now engaged. And then, of course, you have the situation with the unfolding neonatal crisis that is now apart from, of course, the general crisis of the health system, quite apart, of course, from the national security, insecurity situation, quite apart from the economic, should I say, devastation that we are facing. It is clear that the government seem to have run out of money or running out of money, or they have a cash flow problem, and I'm being generous here. Because of course you have the tardiness of public servants not getting their monies on time. You have those persons who depend on the state via welfare and not getting their resources, or their dependent what they depend on from time to time to carry them through. And of course, and the state of poverty continues, of course, to be a situation that would give rise and exacerbate, of course, the other issues such as that of crime. And now, of course, we have this disaster that taken place in the nation's hospital. I mean, could you give us your considered view and what you analyze is happening, and of course, as usual, your solutions, because that is what the Sunday morning program is all about.
Well, Lennox, I can go right back to what was happening starting in the early 80s, that manifested itself in a lost 40 p.m.
All right.
Reason why I'm saying that is that it seemed to me, just as Chambers at the time, who to me was making more sense than this fella here.
Yeah.
At the time, was running out of first money and solutions, because it's all about solutions.
Oh yes. At the end of the day.
And it seemed to me that these guys don't have no solution. They're having a money problem, and then also to add it with a selfish attitude of not caring.
But only yesterday, for example, I mean, taking that trend, that the Auditor General's, there was a debate of the Auditor General's report, and there was a plea by the government to have a postponement of its laying because there were certain things that weren't taken into consideration, because the Auditor General was scathing in that it appears that the present administration has not taken the care to bother to, of course, provide what I say, matching information. If you have an expenditure, you must have a product. And if you have a product, you must say how you get it financially. In other words, in balancing the books, and certain sums of money were either not mentioned, or I don't know if it was overstated, because I didn't take a look at the debate, but I understand that culminated in at least I think 5 opposition members walking out, but I think it was also part of their internal politics, which we of course will discuss as well. We have a duty to discuss at this point in time, having regard to our huge investment in the opposition to of course take the country forward, having regard to the should I say, conspicuous failure of the Rowley administration. That is my view. Of course, it doesn't extend to Dr. Khalid. Go ahead, Dr. Khalid.
But I'm in agreement with you, and you know,
all right.
I do have to duck away from that, because people who know me know my stand that politically I really cannot support these guys. There are some individuals that make sense to me, but even those who make sense, not getting this support from within the administration.
Don't forget the camera is out.
Yeah, from within the administration. So I don't have to duck away from it.
All right.
The thing is, Lennox, if we don't do things to save our young people, such as what you're doing, also as what I'm doing, we would end up with if we think it's bad now, it's going to be 10 times worse.
It's not good.
Because the young people becoming more rebellious and angry every day.
Because of the disappointment, because of the lack of hope, lip service to something. For example, the $100 million that has not yet started to be rolled out, and I'm hearing around here, people are impatiently waiting. The young people, they said they had made their proposal. In fact, I'm going to give you a copy of. I'm going to probably see if I can find a copy of the proposal that they gave to Hines, and of course the parliamentary representative for Port of Spain South, Scotland, that ought to make its way into, of course, the fabric of the proposed and or announced $100 million to at least give, as far as I see, temporary relief under the auspices or supervision of the army. You know, so you go ahead. I just say, let me ask you that if you could address that as well, is that a solution, or is it a partial solution? And then we have, of course, I know your mind could absorb it. Dr. Rowley's, of course, sudden unilateral statement that emancipation must now be called African emancipation. What is that? Because one would have assumed implicitly and logically and common sensely that when you talk about emancipation, when we have celebrated in the past emancipation or even in the future, it was always about the Africans. So why would he now say African and make it, of course, a national issue? So much so that the Emancipation Committee said that they weren't even consulted, even if you want to do something as nebulous and what I consider to be as obvious as that.
Well, all right. Well, I would take that one first.
Yeah.
To start with, being an advocate for African liberation from a very young man, the age of 16.
Yes.
And being around and still being involved in it, even in the States and back here. I understand why you would want to say African liberation.
Okay.
Because the time has come for a lot of our people to acknowledge what has happened to us and take that responsibility to call yourself African. Because of what was done to us, a lot of people not even willing to accept themselves as black, far less to be called African.
All right.
So I could understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But playing games with that, because I don't think that the people, the vessel where that is coming from is sincere.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you're saying that the concept is a good one.
Yes.
But the intent from based on who would have advocated the prime minister, you cannot see any sincerity that in that. So what have you actually seen?
I am seeing, as usual, politics as usual.
Politics. Okay.
I am also seeing, and this for me is my own thoughts. You don't have to quote.
Okay.
I am seeing these people have in mind to get back in power.
Right.
So they're playing their games, the money to give to the army and all that.
Right.
All that is a part of a well-organized plan because they have their advisors.
Right.
The strategists.
Right.
Right. So they put it up in a nice package. Right. And they're going to be using these things to get back in power. And I would not be surprised if they call an election sometime this year.
Sometime this year. All right, let's go straight to the lines. We have a caller online. Pleasant good morning. Welcome to the Corridor, the Sunday morning edition of the Corridor Transformation. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Lennox. This is
good morning.
Kempes. This is
Yes, go
Kempes,
ahead.
remember? I had a meeting with you today. Like this is I'm live.
Yeah. I'm live on thing. You call me about 12 o'clock, please. Call me about 12.
Okay.
Yeah, okay then. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought it was a call. You see, people, Sunday morning, and look, 2 calls already not connected to the program. I know that we are freshly reminted, and therefore, last night alone, when I made the announcement, people might have not catch on. But of course, and to catch us, let's say on Facebook, let me just say that one time, you have to key in, you have to go to love and maybe Lavatil, and you'll get us on Facebook. I have not yet taken down the Corridor Transformation page. That, of course, you know, is lewd, and somebody hacked into it, and they trying to create havoc. And then, of course, you get us as usual, just key in Corridor Transformation and on YouTube. So those of you who are viewing now, to tell a friend, and of course, and a friend will tell a friend. That is the new situation. We will, of course, revert to a Corridor Transformation Facebook page, but not yet until we get rid of that particular page. And I can tell you why it is not yet done. It is not yet done because I want to record all of the programs of the past that we did on that program, on that platform. So I have a special database and storage capacity to, of course, it's quite a lot. And we want, of course, to make sure we can have it for posterity, so to speak. All right. I don't think YouTube, because YouTube is a recent addendum or a recent addition, so therefore it doesn't have as much history as Facebook as far as the Corridor Transformation is concerned. All right. Go ahead, Dr. Khalid. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well. So. What else?
We're talking about the sincerity of the Prime Minister and the African prefix to African Liberation Day.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. A lot of these Africans, especially sometimes, and I don't want you to be offended, especially sometimes the very dark ones.
Yes.
They for some reason or the other, they just give lip service to anything that is black or African. And having that lofty position as Prime Minister, to me, is something where you could use to come up with some program to train our young people.
Yeah, but the issue of 1%, for example, the issue of calling Rowley Oreo, the issue of out of the blues as if it's some kind of epiphany, $100 million, saying that you must call now Liberation Day, African Liberation Day, all of those, are these to be considered to be, let's say, nuggets or nuts or bolts to be added to a wider agenda of attempting, of course, to placate the African community, but without sincerity and without a practical long-term solution, as we are looking for in our private capacities. It is not by accident a disagreement was made with, of course, the young people. It's for long-term, and their families and their families offsprings as well would benefit from it. That is the vision, but at least we are not seeing that as far as the government is concerned, but claiming to be an African-based entity, political organization that have, of course, disappointed and see Africans as a mere vote bank, as opposed to, of course, enhancing the African bank. I'm talking about physical, monetary, and dollar and cents bank, so that they can really and truly build and contribute, and of course satisfy their family commitment and the national commitment as well.
Well, yes, and like I say, it's all about having programs. It's called.
That has to be. Where's that phone? I ain't seen the phone.
I mean,
Seen it? Yeah, it has to be my phone.
somewhere over there.
Yeah, it's a. Oh, it's in my bag.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that caller. The hand phone is tucked away somewhere that is not reachable at this point. Yeah, sorry about that. People prefer to use the hand phone. Oh, wow. We have nobody here to all right, I'll tell you what. Let's we'll go for a short break off camera, and I will get that phone now, right?
Good.
All right, so let me just don't move yet. Let me just play that piece of music. Capitalism gone mad.
We see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad, because capitalism gone mad. Provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility in this country. So many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day in this country. Avariciousness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them an open license to steal. Would you believe me? One nylon panty is $19.90, $20 for some baby milk. The cheapest jersey costs over $60, $200 and change a yard for silk. It hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad, things getting more bad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad.
Sorry about that, people, of course, but I had to look for the phone, so you would appreciate. So, caller, you can call back. Of course, the phone is now available, and the line is open. All right. Don't forget the number to call 337-6940, just in case you just joined us or you just are aware that, of course, we have a corridor transformation on mornings, Sunday mornings only for the time being, but certainly it's something that we respect, we cherish, and of course, Dr. Khalid and myself, we take pride in, of course, sharing our thoughts and addressing some of the issues, particularly solution-oriented ones, so that we can, of course, live a better, more optimistic life, so to speak. Dr. Khalid, we were talking about, of course, the whole question of why it is at this point in time there's a change to the name, or an addition to the name of liberation. The performance of the present administration in terms of lip service, having regard, of course, to claiming that it's an African-oriented party, but what we are seeing really and truly is a blatant and obnoxious and offensive, frankly, display of what I consider to be pseudo-racism, where you utilize your own race, you capitalize, you exploit your own race for your advancement, in this case, political advancement. Dr. Khalid.
Well, you have to remember, Lennox, that the Prime Minister claims he's the blackest man in Trinidad.
I hear you.
He's the blackest man. And therefore, what it is what they're accustomed doing. Giving not just lip service to the Afro population of Trinidad and Tobago, but actually around election time, and it's so glaring, and I can't understand why people do not want to see them and see their games for what it is.
Yeah.
It's really games.
Right.
Right? So, and as I said earlier on, I personally would not be surprised if we have an election before the due date next year.
All right.
Because I'm seeing the games.
Right.
If he's going through problems, economic problems, right? And he can't solve these problems.
Right.
One of the things, as we know in a democracy, you go back
to the
for
polls.
A new mandate.
Yes.
Right? So without saying that we're going through so, right? He could go back, because the Prime Minister in our situation or in the system that we have,
yes,
this first past the post system, the Prime Minister could call an election anytime, you know that.
Yes.
You know, Eric used to boast that he have the date in the back pocket.
Yes.
And Manning, all of them say that. When they're ready, boom, and pull it out. You just, all you have to do is notify the president. You don't have to seek her permission. That's it.
Yeah, but I'm wary about this. Having said that, I'm wary about this particular Prime Minister, because he seems not to have any back pocket, front pocket, side pocket, or should pocket, having regard, of course, to his track record of attempting to undermine the electoral process, and whether or not he would want to delay or attempt, of course, to unfairly or unreasonably not have an election when it is due. We saw that, of course, with the local government. Right. So I'm not putting that beyond him. I'm putting that into the equation one time.
Right. But what I'm saying, whether you don't want to or what, we know what we have to do.
All right.
We have to advocate for, and this is something I've been saying, I will continue saying, all those of us who are in opposition to the PNM need to find a way to work together. And once we come together, I cannot see them being successful against us.
Okay.
Right? But the onus is on us to come together and
with the people.
Yes, advocate and start to make our moves. Because we need to save Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, indeed.
As a reality.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to find a way first to get away from the race politics that they will push. You know, they will push.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yes, yes.
The us against them kind of thing.
Yes.
And anyone who disagree with them, they demonize you, they slander your name and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And once you understand that and you are prepared for that and you're not afraid to state your views, then we know what we have to do.
Well, I see that even with this present crisis that is so blatant and so, should I say, mired in incompetence and impotence and probably criminal, should I say, medical negligence. The minister seemed to be fighting for his survival and relevance. When of course he indicated that the Children's Hospital constructed by Kamala Prasad Bisesa at Cuba when she was Prime Minister, that of course it never had any neonatal facilities there, and of course all the evidence show differently, and yet still he has not resigned, or Dr. Rowley make a statement on the matter that such a significant loss of life, and life here at the beginning of life, because these are premature babies we're talking about in the main, and yet still you have a heartless, inhumane, non-altruistic disposition, and to make statements that are blatant lies, as it turned out, or defending the indefensible without apologizing and without, of course, giving some kind of human feeling in the whole process. I mean, what you think about people like that and the system that they operate, and how could one in good conscience remain in that position?
Well, number one, take a statement. One in good conscience. They're not in good conscience. They don't give a damn.
They don't give a damn. The camera is that way, yes.
They know they get away with anything.
They believe that they could get away with anything.
Well, so far the African population is prepared.
All right.
Right?
To give them that level of leeway.
So what we have to do is to appeal to that part of the African population, which I think is the majority, who don't vote, who don't participate in election, who basically don't care, and would want to use the excuse, some of us, and say, well, some of them, that all of them is the same. We have to go out on a CBS program and convince people that the solution is to work with Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC, and that 19 seats. That those 19 seats that they have there is very important. And we need to work with. And as long as we can convince the people, you will see a difference. I mean, I felt very good the other day when I heard that Roger said he would support the UNC.
Yeah, I see that there's a greater number as well, an increasing number of persons who literally UNC Kamala coming to the fore, whether it be Kojo, whether it be Roger, as you rightly said, and a number of course, what I consider to be poison pen, should I say, public opinion swaying individuals, including, of course, indirectly, Father Harvey, because he was telling, of course, his parishioners in Grenada, don't get involved in politics. That tells me that is a serious piece of introspection. And even though at this stage where he has resigned, his calling and active, of course, what I consider to be Catholic wearing the cloth, advocacy or sustainability, here it is that he has made a declaration that he will not get involved in the politics, even though before he left here, apart from being hogtied, he he exhibited exorcism, or he performed an exorcism around the parliament when it was on Wrighton Road, asking for the then administration, the Kamala administration, to leave office.
You see what has happened, Lennox?
Yeah.
You see, when people do, okay, like I'll tell you something. My old man and I was close, right? And every time I did something wrong, my old man used to be serious with me. Then used to beat, but used to rough up.
Right.
And you ever get a rough up from your parent, and you would have preferred licks?
Yeah.
Because he would like
that, yes.
embarrass you.
Yes.
Make you feel bad.
Yes.
And I used to be angry with that. I said, hit me some hard lash and thing, and we had the embarrassment from the friend. But he used to do it with a purpose.
Right.
And he used to say something that I used to tell my children and now telling my grandchildren. Speak the truth, cost it what it will. For those who hide the wrong they did, does the wrong thing still.
Right.
Them fellas, these guys keep on lying and hiding. And that's what happened to Harvey and him. He did something wrong by demonizing the Kamala Prasad administration.
Right.
Pretending he's not in the politics when he was one of the biggest campaigner at the time for Rowley.
Oh yeah, looking for his 20 pieces of silver, which he got a temporary
and a lot of other
abroad, yeah.
religious people.
Yeah.
And everything turned back on them.
Yeah.
It come back straight in the face. And now the dirt is on the face. They can't hide it.
Right.
So they are ashamed. They don't, okay. They're not prepared to do like what Dr. Kojo is doing.
Right. Say that the truth shall set you free, not
right.
And the truth shall prevail,
Good.
not the PNM.
Good.
Yeah.
So they're saying, here what happening? Here what going on? I am not in politics anymore, and therefore I would keep my opinion to myself because they know that they had messed up before.
Before, yes.
So that is but that is still good in the sense that people seeing them for who they are.
Right.
And they cannot influence people the way they were influencing people.
Yeah.
Way back.
Yeah, because people didn't know their true agenda.
People,
of course, the line is open, 337-6940. I know that it will take some time for people to settle down and so on, and to recognize that we are back. I'm sufficiently experienced to know that. But of course, 337-6940, that's the number that is coming across your screen. And if you need some help, or you need us, or you need to talk to us, maybe you have an idea that you want to give us, please feel free to call the other number, 336-6540, 336-6594, sorry. So the number to call here right now, 337-6940, 337-6940, and the other one, of course, is, the other number is, that's coming across your screen now is 337. No. The one that is coming across your screen now is 336-6594. 336-6594. Let's go to the lines. Pleasant, good morning. Welcome. Pleasant, good morning. Welcome. Oh, okay, so we lost that one as well. Of course, you can call us now. Maybe I was a bit tardy to, I was so interested, of course, in getting the others to get familiar with the numbers. I myself, of course, had some hesitance with one of the numbers. 336-6594, 336-6594, 336-6594. That is the number where you can call us if you need assistance, or you want to share your views as far as improvement is possible, or you have some idea you want to share with us, but you don't think it merits you calling in on the 337-6940 number, where you can get us now, right now, then we will, of course, accommodate. All right? So I think that is important. Dr. Khaled, as we are here, and I'm looking at solution, but of course one of the solution is a program we call Possibility Nelson Street, and this is one of the programs that was handed to Fitzgerald Hines and, of course, the parliamentary representative for Port of Spain South by the youths on Nelson Street. You see their pictures there. I think I am there next to them. That was a long time ago, when, of course, the SOE was in place, and Pandey, I asked Pandey to make a tour, and he came and at the community center where they are going to refurbish right now under this expectedly $100 million initiative announced by the Prime Minister. But that same community center is where, of course, we took that picture, and of course a comprehensive program, I must say, and of course it is designed to treat with the problems of the area. This is the general chart. It is dealing with, of course, administration and a number of issues, whether it be the use of CPEP, the use of the educational facility, homework centers, the rehabilitation had to be added of Piccadilly Street, primary school, as well as the St. Philip's primary school that has been left in fallow and needs repair, but of course it's crucial to absorb some of the school spaces that are required now with an increasing or burgeoning school population, and therefore all of those are part and parcel. In fact, I want to tell you, inside of that is a tilapia producing program, usually, of course, found in let's say in rural communities where there's land. Well, of course, we are using the sides of the buildings to build or to construct tanks, and of course with the use of water and so on, and hydroponics, etc., we should be able to get of course a good stock of tilapia for sale to the various restaurants and should I say establishments that deal with white flesh fish. Yes, white flesh fish that is so protein and so nutritious for human consumption and maintenance. So those are the kind of visions. And of course, right here in this facility where we are looking, of course, at a homework center. We are looking at augmenting those persons who are now in their C exam and are preparing for their C exam. We are looking at upgrading parents to make them understand what is required for their child to at least stand a better chance of getting a higher grade at the level of C, so that they can get their first choice, and some of which are very simple. For example, we don't expect that a child that never ate yogurt, for example, before, and you send them to school to do their C exam, having of course have them imbibe or eat for the first time yogurt, and that may cause a diarrhea and so discomfort them to such a degree that they may either be unable to finish their exam or can't do the exam at all, because that day is crucial and you do not want to do anything to, of course, upset, because it's a once in a lifetime, frankly, scenario where, of course, just as the CXC exam, not that they can't do it again in the case of CXC if they get older, but in the case of C, there is an age limit, and that is it. You are out of the system, and you're out of the primary school system and into, of course, the secondary school. But the kind of institution you will go to may not necessarily, in such circumstance, be your first choice. And of course, I believe that first choices are important, and where you end up because you did not choose, I think is also crucial for the psychological, should I say, settling of people's mind, because many of them that we are interacting with right now said that the first choice would have been an ordinary secondary school, ended up in Serval or in Russell Latapi or in the other facility on Betham that is catering for those persons who made under 30% of the marks. And they know, hearts of hearts, that they could have done better, that they deserve better, and could have been in a academic environment where they could really utilize their talent. But the system, the marking system, shows that they have not yet reached there, and they therefore must go back to really what is practically considered to be a remedial, where they're going to learn maths all over, the arithmetic and some of the formulae and some of the operations, whether it be addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, etc. Those are rudimentary things that they ought to know by the time they reach the 5th standard. So these are some of the things we will be, of course, looking at as well, to make certain that those young persons who come in contact with us are given the optimum opportunity to realize their full potential in these, what I consider to be preliminary examination environment and learning, teaching experiences, in order, of course, to eventually maybe get to tertiary, where, of course, your learning days, for all intents and practical purposes, would be the conterminus or the terminus, right? So I'm just giving you a broad outline as to what is happening. And as I said, on this compound, we are looking at the setting up of a wholesale facility for the young men. Who are the young men? These are the young men. The young men that have come in contact with us, and they are prepared, of course, to work hard according to them. And, of course, they are prepared to do what is required. Dr. Khalid, your comments.
Lennox, I'm impressed with what you're saying. And all I can say, we got to go for it. Because last week, I told some of my people that the program that we have, I would like to see it reach other communities, start well in the Mobile Laventille area, which would come way back to here.
Yes.
You know, because it's basically, even though
same socio-economic, psychocultural environment,
right.
Yes.
And when you come over the hill, Laventille over the hill is back here.
Yeah, same thing.
So we have to come up with programs to save our people.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear ideas like these coming, being dished out, I normally feel good. I'm impressed, because that's the way to go.
Yes, indeed.
People who have not recognized that that is the way to go, they're still looking for solution. Eventually, they'll have no other choice but to come to the conclusion that that is the way to go.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I was very critical of the present administration in terms of, and I did it in the context that I had several, but of course this particular one, within the presence of Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke and Mother Randu when she was alive. We met Mr. Manning as Prime Minister up at Whitehall, and we were making the case for programs such as this, and he asked the question. Of course, it was nestled in the Concordat and the government attempts to secularize all denominational schools and so on, and it was an argument that I don't want to regurgitate at this point in time, coming out from the mouth and head of the then Prime Minister. That would be for another subject. But the point I want to make is that he asked the question. In fact, I asked Manning the question whether or not is he satisfied that in terms of academic performance or performances in general, and on the question of discipline and tolerance, whether or not he would have seen the secular schools or the government school being equal to that of the denominational, and he confessed, and he said in all certain terms that the denominational schools are better equipped and provide, of course, a better delivery, because that is all it could be if the students are performing better along all the various, what I consider to be parameters that we measure the performances and the conduct of students in the what I consider in the pedagogue field, in the teaching field, in the teaching profession. And he was in agreement. And therefore, it rubbished the idea that you want to attack the Concordat, when in fact those persons who are part of the Concordat are talking about, of course, the religious groups having schools performing better than the government schools, and yet still you want to do it. And I noticed, in fact, I had a discussion only yesterday with Dr. Archbishop Barbara Gray Burke, and she was saying that there are a number of court matters where the court has, of course, adjudicated in favor of the churches and the schools as far as the Concordat is concerned. But what we notice is that you have an administration led by Dr. Rowley, who seem to not be familiar with what his predecessor had agreed upon, had accepted, and still, of course, pursuing a course of action that will redound to the destruction of the education system in the country. I don't know if you have any views of that. I know that you know, and you have been attached to Muslim, for example, schools, whether at whatever level, and you are an educator in your own right.
In fact, I always say, and few people know, the school that the Muslimin have there.
Yes.
I am one of the founders of that school.
All right,
In
good.
fact, I was the first principal
Okay,
of both elementary and secondary school.
I see.
So we that has always been my forte, and you know, so the reality is I pay attention to educating children come from underprivileged homes.
Yes.
Because I realize education is the key. Now I've broadened my view, not just academic, training and doing different things, teaching children to do things with their hands and that kind of thing. Together with, you must be able to learn to read and write and do basic maths. If you're not inclined to deeper academia,
Right.
but you must be able to do these basic things. Read, write, do some basic maths. So when you get into your business programs, you will not be robbed.
Yes,
Right?
and you would be
Good.
as proficient as possible
Right.
in terms of running a effective business,
And,
viable and otherwise.
and also start training children how to make monetary transaction. And
Yes,
things
that's
like
what
that.
Dada, in fact, who we sent to India
Right.
for entrepreneurial training, he will be the major player, should I say, the resource person for them, because they're familiar with him. He was a former councillor,
Right.
always in the political arena
Right.
as well. And from tomorrow, I believe I will have him here on the ground report to give him a little 15 minutes or so to tell us what some of the developments that are taking place. I've not told my colleagues Andy and Mike yet, but of course I'm sure it wouldn't be any surprise to them.
Right.
Having said all of that, and with the 20 minutes or so that we have, again, let me just make sure of that. Yes, just about 18 more minutes before 9 o'clock. Sorry, before 10 o'clock. We will be concluding at 10 o'clock. I want, of course, to share with you some, if not the entire document as far as that agreement is concerned. Of course, I will not share the name of the person who has signed for multiple reasons. Just suffice it to say that it will not be appropriate, but certainly in terms of the content, in terms of the intent, in terms of the document, in terms of the various clauses of that agreement, a lease agreement, I certainly will, of course, try to read it to you before the end. I cannot do it on in the night, nor on the ground report because it's pretty lengthy, but because we are looking at solutions on the morning program on a Sunday, certainly I think it may be well appropriate. That should take us right up to 10 o'clock. So let's go straight to that. I have it at the back of me, of course, and that is the lease agreement that you're seeing there. And it states as follows: the Trinidad and Tobago lease agreement, agreement made this 17 days. So earlier this month, in the year of our Lord 2024, between the Mobile Lavatil Improvement Organization, which of course is the organization that owns the property, and in whose name it has been vested. So it is purely NGO, purely an entity dedicated, of course, to the volunteerism, if you want to call it that, in order to share with the wider community in terms of its program training, etc. Also called MLIO, of number 55 George Street, Port of Spain, and owners of all in fee simple the said premises property at number 55 George Street, Port of Spain, hereinafter called the lessor. So MLIO is the owner and the lessor, leasing to, of course, the lessee, which is, of course, the young people. And it continues, and the name of the individual, but I think what he represents is more important: youth community representative. So he's the youth community representative of, and of course his address is there as well, Port of Spain, hereinafter called the lessee. So those are the people who we have leased the property to, that part of the property. Whereas it is agreed as follows: one, that the MLIO as a human capacity building and a nurturing civil society entity dedicated to youth and grassroots development, especially along the east-west corridor, and in keeping with our transformation program for socio-economic and psycho-cultural attitudinal change, has agreed and granted permission to, but of course, the youth community representative at his address, of course, with the number that the address that he gave us, Port of Spain, to provide to the lessee with the northern half, the division of the ground floor of the said 55 George Street, Port of Spain premises, for the sole and only purpose of doing business of a, well, culinary nature, but anything incidental too. So I thought we shouldn't limit it to wholesale. They could do some retail as well. 2A, the premises lease is allocated and demarcated on the ground floor on the northern end in boundary with the Western Boys Government Primary School. So that is the northern parameters of the building and the area that they have been leased. B, the premises leased is for the sole use of the lessee to conduct and engage in the sale of prepared food, drinks, items, and of course items incidental thereto. So again, no hard and fast, but certainly as flexible as possible as they see profitability and opportunities that are positive. 3, the lease shall be in existence for a period of 5 years. Normally it's 3 years, but I thought they were so enthusiastic, and they said that whilst I had proposed that we will furnish and capitalize the entire project, they said no, they can't wait, and therefore they got someone, of course, to provide them with some resources. And I thought that was wonderful. It can't hurt, and therefore I give them a 5 years in the first instance, with the option to renew on expiration of the final year, subject to the satisfactory fulfillment of the terms and conditions herein prescribed and agreed to by both parties. So yes, indeed, we have been doing our homework. You can't want a better solution than this in terms of its longevity and in terms of its sustainability. CPEP, URP, come on, renovate up the road. that's temporary. That is ephemeral. You want something that they could rely on, and successive generations could, of course, depend on as well. So, conditions and consideration. 4, that the lessee has exclusive rights to engage in commercial activities on the said property or premises. 5, the lessee, meaning that these young people would use the leased property or premises for the sole purpose of commercial activities as aforestated on the premises or property. 6, that all activities pursuant of the terms and conditions of this lease shall at all time ensure that the premises is kept clean, environmentally solid, and observe all regulatory and statutory rules associated with the operation of the business as aforesaid and mentioned. So again, very standard, but of course important, so that we can maintain a certain standard, and of course our rights as well as the owners of the premises, should in case something goes wrong. I don't expect it. That's why I have entered it and given, of course, a long term, but you never could tell. It's human beings we're dealing with. 7, the lessee is prohibited from any and all subletting, renting, division, or subdivision of the premises for any commercial or non-commercial purposes. 8, the lessee is prohibited from engaging in any and or all activities that is contrary to any law, regulation, and or illegality, whether of a criminal or civil nature. You know, well, that would be a standard to put in here, having regard to, of course, these socio-economic realities of this place, right? The gunshots have not stopped, for example, and of course the robbings have not stopped. But of course, this is the stepping stone. As Confucius would have said, the longest journey begins with what? A single step. So this is what this is all about. Of course, 9, the lessor, meaning of course the organization or its representative, shall be entitled to visit the said premises for the purposes of monitoring and or executing the leases, in interest in this lease agreement. 10, any repairs, upgrading, and or improvement that are irremovable, it shall remain and or be part of the premises aforementioned. So if you repair, you improve, obviously you don't want people leaving with the electrical installation or the plumbing. So you have to tell them, if you put it in, it has to remain there. Right. 11, A, the lessee, meaning the youth organization, shall pay to the lessor the sum of $300, not thousand, but $300 on or before the last day of each month for the duration of this lease. But of course, we told them that that is just a token, but it will only be collected when they start the actual work. They have not started, when they start to actually sell and make a profit. Outside of that, this clause will not be enforced. I can tell you that because I am involved. All right. B, so we're not making any demands of them. Haven't signed this, of course, on the 17th of this month. B, the first payment shall begin on the last day of the month after the signing and or commencement of this lease, subject to any reasonable intervening issue. Well, that's the intervening issue. They didn't start yet, so therefore we don't expect any money. All right, only $300, by the way. How can this lease be terminated? Termination of lease agreement. Well, 12. This lease agreement can be terminated by either side on 3 months' notice. 13. This lease can be terminated in the event of the following: A, bankruptcy or liquidation by the lessees. Right? Of course, B, evidence of corrupt practices or gross misconduct and or the use of the said property that is or are a material breach of this lease agreement, including conduct acts of criminal or civil nature. We have to put in that, obviously, to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
C, a breach of any fundamental obligation agreed to by both parties under this lease agreement and or any other substantial indication that the terms of this agreement have been gravely violated. We have to put in that, obviously, that is typical of any lease. D, on the termination of this agreement by notice of or otherwise, both parties agree to undertake and or meet any compensation that may have occurred or may have accrued caused by the said termination, and in particular meet all legitimate and bona fide claims submitted by either a party to this agreement. For example, they may pay light bill in advance or water rate in advance, and because of breach or whatever reason they have to leave, then of course the organization will compensate them because of course that was something that they had pending that we would have had to pay for anyway. But since they paid for it, then we compensate them for it. I think that is extremely reasonable and is commonplace. And then of course, 3, the lease shall be in existence for a period of 5 years in the first instance. Right? We said, oh no, we're going to the next page. So, and finally, of course, the last part of it, as witness, this lease agreement has been signed by Lennox Smith, so chairman of the Mobile Laverton Improvement Organization, and of course the other party, the youth community representative. Of course, his address is here, and shall be deemed to be in force as of the date and the year written above. What is that date? The 17th of this month, 2024. And then, of course, signed by Lennox Smith on behalf of the Mobile Laverton Improvement Organization, and of course, in the presence of gentleman, I don't want to call his name, but of course, he's the witness. And then, of course, by the youth community representative for the area, and of course, he signed there. And then, of course, the in the presence of the same witness. And his address is included. Maybe we should have put in maybe the ID cards of maybe both the signatories and the witnesser and the witness. But that is something we could always adjust, I suppose. So that is where we are, people. And of course, we are extremely elated. So you'll understand why we say that we want sustainable development. We want sustainable ideas for manifesting the various possibilities that this empowerment resource center can produce. Of course, we have to physically upgrade. We have a whole program for that. We want to tackle the ceiling because it is all ramshackled. If you look up, you will see probably the galvanized. It'll be very hot in here. We have already got donated 3 air-conditioned units, so we have to part off and so on. So things are happening, and it's all without the support and or involvement of the government. But however, I am of the view that the government must play a role, and therefore we will be approaching the government, apart from, of course, various entities such as the United Nations and the European Union, as well as the various embassies, whether it's Chinese, whether it be, of course, Germans, French, etc. In fact, I want to tell you that the British have already said that they are prepared to come and visit, and they will be, of course, coming with a package. And then, of course, the Germans told us, and we have to work on that yes, they want to come, but they can't come because of security issues. So all of those things we will have to work, because it will defeat the purpose if they can't come. Because one of the purposes is what? to, of course, eliminate or get rid of the advisories against Trinidad and Tobago by these metropolitan countries, these capitalist countries that, of course, we depend on for investment in Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Khalid.
Yes. I will start with the part where you say the Germans
Yes.
don't want to come.
Skeptical.
Yes, because of the security.
Yeah.
So, I think this is thing, I don't see that as a major problem and obstacle. We can come up with a solution where they will have a lot of security
Yes.
and support, and then go back to them with the practical solution to their fears.
Yes, yes, to allay those fears.
Yes.
Yeah, that is exactly what we want to do. I do accept no for an answer until I get yes or a definite position on a particular matter. But no is not an option for us. No. There's a need, of course, to sanitize that area. Let's go to the lines and see if it is a caller at this twilight moment. But let's hear what that caller has to say. President, good morning. Welcome to the Sunday edition of the Corridor Transformation. Good morning.
Okay, Mr. Lennox. Morning to you. Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
All right, okay. What I call to mention is that I love what you're doing there. Remember, I spoke about the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program format.
Yes.
I'm compiling the information right now.
Good, great.
The thing about it is that I sent the front cover of the overview.
Okay.
But the thing is, how could I get this to you? Because I'm in Sandu.
No, well, can you not WhatsApp it? Take a picture of it and WhatsApp it to me?
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, I'll do that.
And I could put it up on the system. So that's not a problem.
All right.
And I want to share with Dr. Khalid here, and of course you, the viewers out there as well. There's another gentleman from the United States who says he's going to Spain to see how they operate. There is an organization, one of the largest cooperatives in the world, that are concerned about grassroots and the developments, human resource development, such as what we are doing here. And he believes that if we can have some kind of cooperation with them, some kind of networking, it will assist us here in our program. He said that as soon as he saw what we are doing, he realized that that might be useful to us, and he will be going to Spain just to look at it. The name itself has eluded me, but tonight, of course, I'll be talking about it. I'm sure I'm going to get it in a while, but I just wanted to let you know that yes, people like you, we welcome on board, and we love that initiative as well.
Okay, well, listen to this.
Yes.
Right now, this program was given way back in the days of Mr. Patrick Manning. It was given to his wife.
Okay.
Then the same overview. It was also given to Khadija Amin recently in the crime talks. It was also given to the opposition leader,
Great.
Kamala Prasad Bisesa. That was given to her in Grandi.
Right.
So I'm hoping that when you get this program, if you could dialogue with Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa and see how feasible you could get the program out to the classes.
Beautiful.
And it's a great job that you're doing right there, and I'm hoping that one day I could visit. It's in George Street, right?
Yes, it's George Street. Yes, George Street, right in the heart of Port of Spain.
All right. And
in what is called a true devil's woodyard. Psychological.
All right. Let me just close off by telling you that I does construction. I'm in the field of construction, so
great.
Probably we could liaise a little more.
Yes. Your services will certainly be welcome. We have a lot of upgrading work to do at the facility itself, and you maybe help us. And it can lead to other things.
One question I want to ask.
Go ahead.
What doctor is Mr. What's his name? The guy close to you. What's his profession? Yeah, what's profession
Yeah,
so the doctor he
what's
is?
he specialize in? Yeah.
I'm into social work. My PhD is in sociology and comparative religion, and I do a
Great.
lot of
All
social
right.
work.
All right.
A lot of social work.
Okay,
I
so
work with a lot of depressed children, both male and female,
all
and
right.
education. That is my background.
Yeah.
Great, great, great. Well, you know that academics can't go without moral education, right?
Yeah, that's why that's why I'm
All
into
right.
comparative religion, things like that.
All right, all right, right. Great,
Yeah,
great job, great job. Well, have
yeah.
a blessed day, and
Yes,
I'm
man.
enjoying the program.
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
man.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Lennox.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in. And while, of course, a lot of persons may not be aware because, of course, we had some break in transmission,
Yeah.
for want of a better term, for some time. Of course, I was boasting to Dr. Khalid when he was coming in. Of course, the line is now run, and of course, we have adequate internet supply to
Wonderful.
avoid and to not limit, but to eliminate the poor video that we have been getting. We were getting just a couple of days ago. It's far now, having regard to have been completed or put below our belts. On under our belts, of course, some 4 or 5 programs so far. So I'm very, very thankful to those who expressed their concern and did make a contribution to us, and will continue to make a contribution to make certain that the quality remains, because as they said, it makes no sense we have an audio but the quality of the video is such that it neutralizes or it renders null and void, and whilst it has an effect, but certainly it really interferes with my own psyche. When I watch it, I say, nah, I cannot continue with that, and therefore I prefer to pause and halt until we get, of course, the upgrade, and then return. Well, we have returned in full force, and a lot has been done, and of course, some of the benefits you are now getting. As I say, the Sunday program is designed to provide solutions, and of course, this Sunday's program, no exception. Dr. Khalid, closing remarks?
Well, Lennox, it's a pleasure to be back,
Yes.
and I'm happy with the last caller
Yeah,
interest,
people are coming in board. People are coming in.
and we need that is what we need. We need a lot of support, and we can make it happen
Yes.
because when people get familiar with our area, they will realize where I am off the Legion Road, and it comes right across over the Chinapur Lavatil, right back to the Nelson Street, George Street.
Yes, yes.
And that is a very wide area. And all these are children who live in this depressed situation that can be developed. And also, what it is that we are also going to be dealing with advising parents and improving the family life of the children and things like that. It's all about keeping the family together and creating unity within the community and the family.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Yes, indeed. And of course, these are just the tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg, because it is all about human resource development. It is all about making certain that our children get the best opportunity to, of course, advance themselves, contribute to not only family and community, but to nation building. And without those, what I consider to be fundamentals, those nuts and bolts, we are going to continue to deteriorate in the way that none of us, and even now, would have expected, but that is a reality. So people, have a wonderful rest of the day, until, of course, tonight on the corridor transformation. Yours truly will be there from 8 o'clock. And of course, we'll continue these and other topics. Of course, more hardcore than anything else. Of course, on a Sunday morning, we try to make it as solution oriented. Not that in the night we are not solution oriented, but of course, there's an extra focus, extra, should I say, tendency to look for solutions. And of course, don't forget, you can call us for any idea or solution that you may have. And that number to call, you can do that right now, is of course 336-6594. 336-6594. All right, and somebody will answer even to today. Yes, it's Sunday, but we have a mission and a vision that is urgent. See you tonight. Have a wonderful one. Dr. Khaled, yes. You said your closing remarks already?
Yes.
You did? All right, okay. I'm sorry, choose. Yes.
Education, this is the foundation. Our rising population needs sound education to be recognized anywhere you go. You gotta have your certificate to show, to enjoy any kind of happiness. Knowledge is the key to success. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you gon' get real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. Education, this is the foundation. Our rising population needs sound education to be recognized anywhere you go. Have your certificate to show, to enjoy any kind of happiness. Knowledge is the key to success. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you won't catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. For employment, yes, employment, you must be intelligent. It's essential, very essential to have your credentials. But if you're block-headed like a mule, no one will employ a fool. You'll be the last one to be hired and the first one to be fired. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you're gonna catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't follow idle companions or you will get burned. To earn, you got to learn. Illiteracy is man's greatest enemy. It's your duty, yes, your duty, stamp it out completely. Ignorance always impedes progress. Education saves you much distress. So learn as much as you can. For the nation's you much distress. So learn as much as you can. For the nation's future's in your hand. Children stay in school and learn well. Otherwise later on in life you're gonna catch real hell. Without an education in your head, your whole life will be pure misery. You're better off dead. For there is simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. Don't allow idle companions to lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, you got to learn today. It's a treasure, yes, a treasure beyond any measure. Just secure it, don't ever ignore it. To fight life's battles come what may. Education lights up your way. Without it, you'll never get through. Success or failure now is up to you. Children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you will catch real hell. Without an education